impact assessment, or SEIA. What is it? Well, it's kind of a standardized structured tool to describe relevant consequences of a new policy proposal to society as a whole, by identifying, valuing, if possible, and presenting the social consequences, the economic consequences, and the environmental consequences. But sometimes I can feel that, well, it depends on what kind of definition you have of economics, but I can feel like if you say economic consequence, for me, I think it includes the environmental consequences as well. There might be a question whether the positive consequences, the benefits of improving this lake, etc., outweighs the negative consequences, that is the cost of improving the lake, of this policy proposal. So that kind of a cost-benefit analysis can be done. And also have to see, are there any other unacceptable consequences? And are these consequences connected to the target or to the measures implemented to reach the target? Why should we do this assessment? Well, it's a consistent analysis of the potential impacts, including social and economic aspects. So it gives you a wide spectrum. What is happening? What are the pros and cons of moving towards this target by implementing these measures? It gives us a tool to consider various types of policy instruments and trade-offs between different policy options. If we do this will happen, and if we do that will happen. And within a consultation with stakeholders, we can show that we're taking into account the different trade-offs between their interests. And important, including that of less organized and those with limited resources. Usually when we work and we meet stakeholders, it's very often the representatives of businesses that has to make investments to clean up the environment. But we have to remember the benefit side. What about the people that are benefiting from this improvement? And they might not be as well organized and have a limited number of resources. So they are not to be forgotten. The assessment also enhances the transparency and accountability. So it's very important when you do this assessment that you're very transparent in what you have done, how you have come up with the numbers. So someone else can go in and say, okay, I understand, but I think your number here is wrong. How will that change the result? And at the end, of course, it provides more complete and politically stronger arguments for environmental policy. And when the Stern report on climate came out in 2009, it really gave a push, because what he showed is that it will cost us much more if we don't do anything about the climate and its effects than if we do something. So it is an important basis for the decision making. Not saying that it should be the only basis, this kind of cost-benefit analysis. There's other things you have to take into account too, but it is an important part. In the EU, we see that impact assessments need to be conducted by the European Commission before any new proposal. It has to be prepared for legislative proposals, but also for non-legislative initiatives. And the quality control is made by the Impact Assessment Board. To read more here. And then of those who are familiar with the Water Framework Directive and now the Marine Strategy Framework Directive, the socioeconomic impact assessment is an important part of those processes and those directives. But assessment in the Swedish EPA, was sitting at the Environmental Economic Unit, and we support the EPA's work with regard to economic aspects of Swedish environmental policy when we have new proposals. I can assess the use of different policy instruments. How well are they performing? What could be a possible new policy instrument? We make cost-benefit analysis that's saying that, well, to reach this target, this will be the cost, this will be the benefits. Sometimes the targets are already determined, but we have a politically determined target saying that we have to reach this. Then what we kind of say is that, well, if you want to reach this target, this is the cost-effective way to reach it. So we do a cost-effective analysis. And that these measures will reach the target at the lowest possible cost for society. But even in those, I think it might be important to kind of argue what are the benefits of reaching this target. We make policy instrument analysis, as I mentioned. How well does the policy instrument perform? Is it cost effective? Does it fulfill the target? Does it create incentives for technological initiatives? And how is the burden distributed? So often we give this methodological support to other units at the Swedish EPA, conducts projects. We comment and analyze these reports from other agencies where they have done maybe cost-benefit analysis. Also from the Swedish government and other international organizations. And at this point we're about a little over a dozen environmental economists in this section.